For crypto, I think like it's basically the future of money or the present of money, like being able to have self-custodianship of your assets, being able to transact freely with anyone in the world. That's pretty powerful. And I think that's the common case. And now nation states are realizing that they can also hold on their balance sheet, something that is not the debt of another country, and resembles gold, but I think it's more easy to manage. So I think like for hard money is the first use case of crypto, and I think that's pretty powerful, and it will go a long way.
So, welcome to a new episode Voice of Web3 podcast powered by CoinGape, where we feature the industry leaders and visionaries who have the power to transform the future of crypto and Web3 world. I'm Yeli, the host, and today we have the leader of Metaverse world, Yemel Jardi, Executive Director of Decentraland, and a bit about Decentraland. Decentraland lets users explore, create, and own virtual spaces, offering great opportunities for brands through partnership with companies like Adidas, Coca-Cola. In 2021, Coca-Cola launched its first NFT collection with a virtual event in Decentraland. Other highlights include the Voice TV series pop-up event in the Metaverse Music Festival in 2022, and of course, Samsung virtual flagship store, further establishing Decentraland's place in virtual commerce. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to Voice of Web3 below and help us connect you with top expert in the crypto. So today we're discussing the true potential of Metaverse, how Metaverse can benefit its user, and also stay with us till the end to know about investing in Metaverse land. Yemel, nice to meet you. It's really cool to have you today because Decentraland is a really big company with an impact to the industry. So thank you for joining. How's it going?
Thank you, Yeli, and thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. Doing great. In Buenos Aires, Argentina at the moment, where I'm based. Sunny day, so enjoying the weather.
That's great that you are in this summer time. So the very first question, very easy, but it's interesting to know how you start your journey in the Web3 space. How you enter this.
Well, that was 10 years ago, actually. So long time. Well, my background is in software engineering. So I studied here in Buenos Aires, started working in technology, in startups. I was the CTO of a pretty well-known startup here in Argentina at the age of 23 years old. Around 2013, so yeah, 10, 11 years ago, I read the Bitcoin white paper and totally blew my mind.
This is the first, sorry for interruption, but this is the common thing that all big experts in the industry started from Bitcoin white paper.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of factors. For one part, I grew up here in Argentina, and I have saw from very first hand how your government can default and defraud all the citizens. Around 2001, Argentinian country freeze all bank accounts, convert all their dollars into pesos at the exchange rate they wanted, and you could not access your money for a long time. You can only go to the ATM and withdraw a few $100s per day. So understanding self-custodianship and the need of it, and how you cannot trust some institutions, for most Argentinians, it's a very well-known fact. So when I hear about Bitcoin and the possibility of having digital money and being able to have self-custody of it and having all these freedoms and doesn't rely on a central bank, immediately blew my mind. It was okay, this is the native money for the internet, the native money for our society. And And yeah, that was the I think the kicking point. Also, there was a big conference in Buenos Aires. It was called the BitConf at the end of 2013, and I had the opportunity to attend, and I saw so many companies in the industry coming to Argentina for the event. So many great speakers like Andreas Antonopoulos, and that gave me a sense that the industry was real. It's not only a paper online. It's like a whole industry pushing for this. And in 2014, I decided to jump like full time working in the crypto industry, working remotely for an American company first. I switched a few jobs. We set up an office with a few friends.
And what
And
was the first company? What was the first company? It
the
is
first
not something
company,
about metaverse.
no. It was a payment processor called BitPay, and I was part of the open source team developing libraries to create applications in Bitcoin. So that was my first open source project, working remotely and contributing to like a whole ecosystem. Like other companies use the library we built to build their own company. So I think that was super interesting. Then I jumped into Change Tip. Maybe you hear about it. It was like a social tipping platform. We had some bots online, so you can tip people in Twitter, Reddit, like, hey, Change Tip, send a beer to this person, and he was using Bitcoin behind the scenes to tip for tipping online. I think that's one step closer to the social part of the technology that eventually I think lead to the metaverse. And Decentraland came to be based on many conversations we had in our office. We share the office with a lot of folks working in the industry, each of us in our own products, companies, startups. And we have been discussing on how we can use blockchain technology for other purposes. At that time, like blockchain was only Bitcoin. And we developed a first prototype of Decentraland by forking Bitcoin with the idea of being able to use a ledger, like a chain, for registering not money, like a fungible token, but instead something unique, like a plot of land in a virtual world. We were a big fans of novels like Ready Player One, Snow Crash, and also we were really into like edge technology like VR. We had a headset, a VR headset back then, like the very first Oculus One, and we had a feeling that like the computer and the mobile phones were not like the very last ultimate computing platform. Like we will see the humanity moving or shifting to another computing platform that is more immersive. I think like having both spectrums, like the mobile phone, or maybe the next generation is like glasses, something that is very convenient that you can have with you. But then there's the other part that is like you want to maximize the bandwidth you have with the computer. That's when you get into your laptop. So maybe the next step is to having like a headset, and we were discussing like what is going to happen like when like the most people in the planet are like connecting to like a virtual space. Like how are the foundations of this digital world built? Like if we are going to spend a lot of time there, like it should be based on like true values, like the values that the internet was founded, like I believe in open source, in self-custodianship. So that's how Decentraland came to be, exploring how to use crypto, blockchain, to give this kind of rights to the users, and create a virtual world that actually the users can have a voice and have private property and doesn't depend on like a centralized company that owns the digital world.
And what do you think? What is the best, on your opinion? What is the best example of like real case of using crypto or metaverse? Because adoption is still in the progress. And on what do you think? What is the best like real case?
Yeah, well, so for crypto, I think like it's basically the future of money or the present of money, like being able to like have self-custodianship of your assets, being able to transact freely with anyone in the world. That's pretty powerful. And I think that's the common case. And now nation states are realizing that they can
Mhm.
also hold on their balance sheet, something that is not the debt of another country, and and resembles gold, but I think it's more easy to manage. So I think like for hard money is the first use case of crypto, and I think that's pretty powerful, and it will go a long, long way. Um, in terms of metaverse, we our take in Decentraland, it's like the metaverse is a huge concept. Like it's like the next frontier of the internet, like a more spatial version of the internet. Like Decentraland, we built one virtual world, one tiny part of like the whole internet. And in our case, we're focusing on socializing. Like internet has become kind of boring. Like most of the interactions are asynchronous. You are consuming the content that have been recorded previously. You are seeing the post or reacting to things that were done like in a different moment. And of course, we have like some Twitter spaces or like live streams, but uh, what happened with those spaces in which you can connect in real time with another person and have like a meaningful conversation? What happened with the old chat rooms in the internet, meeting new people? Like so, for us, the central and our virtual world is about socializing. It's about having these real connections in real time with another person, and embodying a sense of presence in this experience. Like you have your own avatar, you have your own identity, and you are sharing a virtual space. Maybe there is a party going on, and you are making friends. Like most of our users, what they really enjoy about Decentraland is the possibility of making new friends, socializing, hanging out, and some of them maybe they have some artistic interest. Maybe you are a DJ, but also you have a family and kids, and you cannot like go with your nightclub like it's a very intense lifestyle if you want to do it like in this real life. But in the central, you can be the DJ of the party and do it from your own house. If you are like an artist, there is a place you can showcase your art. You can have many uh,
Agree.
curators who are like interested in your art and making questions directly. Um, for example, we ran a music festival recently. It was like 4 days of EDM music, and we have like the artists on live on the chat while the set was playing. Everyone was dancing, and I think that connection between the artists in the chat with the all the participants was also very meaningful for both. Like the assistant was like amazed that they can have the opportunity to chat with the DJ, and the DJ was like, oh my god, the community is reacting to what I'm doing. So I think that the social part of the metaverse is what I'm really most interested.
Is a most like real case. Yes, we will speak more about this aspect that you mentioned because it's really I think it's our era when people like more in digital world. But
Mhm.
let's come to your journey, and if you weren't be in the metaverse and Web3, what would you do? As I understand, you're more a
Sorry.
tech person, so
Yeah.
perhaps you can be like some software developer, or what other options you can consider.
Um, Sorry, could you repeat the question from the start?
Yeah. What would you be doing if you weren't for the metaverse?
That's a pretty open question. As a software engineer, like writing code is something that I really, really like and enjoy. Now my job is like to be the executive director of like a company. So like I'm doing mostly management, planning, strategy, communications. I think I will jump into like technological research. I'm nowadays I'm pretty interested in for the crypto space in like real world assets. I think if I jump outside of of the metaverse space, I will try to bridge like the traditional finance system with the crypto ecosystem. You know, the financial system was created with the sole purpose of making more efficient the allocation of unused capital into the productive sectors of the society. So I think if we are trying to build like the next generation of the financial system, that's exactly what we should be
Yeah.
aiming. Like how we utilize all this capital that is sitting in many Gnosis, multi-sig wallets, and actually put it in at the service of someone who is having like a real impact in the world, like being able to
Mhm.
finance like a big construction or a gas, oil conduct. How you can actually impact on the production of a particular industry. So yeah, I'm really interested on how we can bridge those, how to bring securities into the crypto space. Yeah, I think that's a really like the next frontier for crypto and finance in particular.
Yeah, why I'm asking those questions is because I think there are many people who want to join this like Web3 industry in metaverse, crypto, and how do you think will job opportunities will increase and why?
Hmm. Well, I think the crypto industry is pretty remote, and I think that
Yeah.
was one of the things that really got me interested 10 years ago, and I think that's still valid today. You can access like job opportunities from all around the world, and the teams are mostly remote, or maybe they have an office, but there is a big wing of the team all around. So I think there are plenty of opportunities wherever you are. um, then I think it depends on your background. Like if you are on engineering, I think you won't have any problem like jumping into the industry. Um, if you are like in finance and legal, maybe finding
Also,
the startups and the projects that are like innovating in your space, and you can bring your knowledge and try to make that gap. Um, and Yeah, I think the opportunities are quite big. Yeah, you can be like if you are not a tech person, you can participate in the community side of the project. Like most of the crypto projects have a big community side of it or a governance part. You can be part of like producing events all around the world. That's I think another big thing about this remote industry is that we need these important events around the year to gather, to network, to connect, to be updated. So be in that scene and be able to generate those spaces is also like an important role. And yeah, I think it depends on your background, but opportunities are everywhere.
yeah, and do you think it's like prestigious to work in this space? And just from your side, how do you think is the salary like more attractive in this space in Web3, crypto, and like projects that are somehow related with Web3 space?
I believe the technology is here to stay for a long term. That was my initial reason for like investing my professional career into this, and I believe that still holds true after 10 years. Of course, there are some hype cycles like in the market, and for
Yes.
a few like every 4 years, I think this will be the fourth like bull market I see. Like every 4 years, you have like a big wave of hype. You start seeing like how your cousins, like some old friends from school, reach you out asking for the technology and they want to invest. I think that's a kind of a signal that like, maybe the media is going kind of crazy. Everyone is talking about this, and suddenly, with some the bad part surface or just the cycle ends, and we end up with a few years of like having really bad press, and that's kind of part of an industry that is still maturing, and I think that
Mhm.
it will take
Agree.
let maybe the cycles are getting like longer and longer, or maybe less abrupt in terms of. So that's in terms of like sentiment and the prestige of being on the industry. I think that depends on who are you talking with, and like the time of like the market for that. I believe the technologies will be here for a long, long time. So if you are investing in your professional career, I think you should care about that part, like what's the midterm, long term of it.
Yeah, and do you think is there some chances to enter this industry without any like experience for those who want to
Ah,
join?
yeah, well, I think like you don't need experience, but you should be like a like some sort of professional, or develop some work ethics, like to be on time on the meeting, to ensure that you can like actually contribute value to the
Mhm.
conversation, and that you're a good learner. And I think that for a remote position, having senior people is really important. Like onboarding someone who doesn't have any experience in a professional like industry, it's really hard, because like if you're not sharing like space, physical and time with the person that is a junior, I think it's kind of harder to that. But if you already have like your career, you have performed like well on different jobs, and that's something that you can translate to this industry. It's a matter of finding which is the right company for you, or the right space. But there are so many job boards out there that you can check and see like the different opportunities. Also, attending to these events is a good idea of
Mhm.
having a sentiment of who are the companies who are like most
Yeah,
active
to
or
know more.
engaging. So take, if you are looking forward to jump into this industry, go to one of the events and see what's happening. Also, like if you already have a like a background in, I don't know, finance, legal, administration, marketing. I think that's a good part. And if you don't have you are more a social person. I think there are many DAOs out there, like community need organizations that they also have like positions. For example, in Decentraland, we have a lot of opportunity for 3D modelers. In Decentraland, you can create digital assets like fashion objects, like a t-shirt, hat, like a full body skin. And that's an asset that you can create using like a open source 3D model software such as Blender, and you can sell it on the central marketplace. And so that's an opportunity of like trying to make a living by selling clothes in like this virtual world. And also, if you are very talented at doing so, you can apply to the DAO to be part of the committee that actually curates all the submissions that go to the marketplace. So you can have this other position that is an official position in the organization for that very particular task. So maybe you should not be like a super generalist
Mhm.
crypto expert. You do 3D modeling, you do it well, you find a place in which you can exploit that skill and make a living out of it.
Yeah, thank you. This is a really good piece of advice. I mean, about event, because when I came to the industry and see these people in real life, I understand that they are positive and open to help you to understand the industry. Like each person, like tell me a lot about the industry, how it works, and etc. And of course, like platform as Decentraland. I'm always like call it decentralized because it's the general like popular world in the Web3. Yeah, the Decentraland is a good example of how you can join the industry and understand how you can use it. So
Hmm.
this is also really good insight. And if we speak about metaverse and AI, of course, AI is
Hmm.
everywhere. So how do you
Yes.
see AI can cooperate with metaverse? And
Hmm.
like, are you planning to integrate something in your platform, or already
Hmm.
like have something to share with us?
Yeah. Well, AI is, I think, has been the topic for the industry for a while now. I don't know if we're getting closer to like the bubble popping up, but there are many new things that I think will surprise us for the next years. Um, Metaverse, Decentraland, and AI have like many things in common, and it's pretty surprising that, for example, the chips you use to train and run AIs are the same chips that you use to render 3D worlds. It's like the GPU. So
Mhm.
I think that, and very, maybe it's not familiar to everyone, but all the investment that is being done on the AI space for the hardware part is also like uh, improving the quality of like developing chips that can render 3D
Mhm.
graphics. Like you can see that in the stock value of Nvidia, for example. The company that produce graphic cards that we use to play games is the company that is like most value in the world, because the connection with AI. So I think that's on a very low level that there is a synergy between the gaming industry and AI. That's one part. Second part, I believe that creating a 3D world, a game, like a 3D immersive experience, requires so many skills. Like different to doing a website, you need like a 3D modeler, someone who can do the textures. You need a animator. You need to do
Mhm.
sound design. You need to do interaction design. If you want to build like your own custom experience, like for building your own house and placing your NFTs in the wall and having a party with your friend, that's something that you can do with a few clicks. But if you want to like create your own game, like an immersive experience with like your own narrative, that requires a lot of skills. And I think AI, as technology in general, is empowering the individual. Like it's about being able to translate your ideas into like something that is working way easily. So I'm really interested in all software that helps creator being able to
Mhm.
materialize their ideas in this. So you can do it by generating the text, like scripts of NPCs. Like if you have some like a host in your scene that has some scripts, you can develop all the narratives, dialogues using AI. You can have like a real time agent that actually answers all your questions, but it's like by AI. I think those are interesting use cases. You can generate images for like all your space.
Mhm.
3D models is something that I have been following very closely. I think the AI has dominated text, music, and video now. 3D models is something that is not quite ready yet. You can generate a 3D model, but it's not as optimized for like a game that you want to have it to make it very performant, like having a less amount of triangles so we can render pretty quickly. So I think we are not that ready yet. We did some internal tests in our creator tools that you can say like, I want a
Yes,
sofa, and
definitely.
a 3D model is generated for you and you just place it. But the quality of that is not that ready. Maybe in 2025 we can finally include it and ship it. And on the social part, that I think that's there is something pretty powerful, at least for the Decentraland with AI. You know, our community is pretty global. We have people from the US, people from Germany, people from India, people from South America, and they all speak different languages. And the community is pretty global and also aware of the different cultures. I think that's one of the interesting things when you jump into the Central is you get to know so many countries and the traditions and and you make friends in different countries. However, like English is the main language. Like the interface is in English, and most of the people communicate on English unless you are in your own community in which you can talk your language. We are experimenting with doing live translation on the chat for your
That's a
own
good feature.
language. Yeah, and I think that's really interesting. We are still tweaking many things on like the slang, because when you type on a chat, it's not exactly like proper English or your
Yes.
formal language. It has so many abbreviations and ways to communicate. But being able to have this platform that lets you interact with another person in your own language, and that's coming through the cable and receiving in their own language, I think that's pretty powerful. Really, it's about having a very inclusive experience for all.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yes. And it's really like interesting because I know some some of my friends, they don't know English. It's a pity,
mhm,
but it's true, and they are waiting for this kind of application or like feature that translate their voice into
mhm,
English in the real world. And I'm laughing at it, but as you told that you are experienced it, do this experience, it's really good
mhm,
because there are many people that are waiting for kind of this instrument to chat with
mhm,
other people. Yeah, so you mentioned also gaming, and it's kind of social part as well, and
mhm,
games are really important today. So
mhm,
how the Decentraland implementing to enhance the gaming experience
mhm.
for users, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. As you mentioned, gaming is eating the entertainment world. Um, like for the, I don't know, past 6 years, the amount of like money spent in gaming has grew a lot. Like it's already surpassing movies, books, and music all
Yes,
together. I don't
yes.
know. When I hear about these facts, it was like blew my mind. Like, oh my gosh. And I don't know why, and maybe AI will be part of this, but also entertainment as an industry, like it's also growing. I don't know if people have more free time or they are exhausted about their life and they want to, I don't know, compensate it by investing in entertainment. Of course, you can go out for a walk in the real world and enjoy it. That's for free. But like entertainment is growing, like and gaming in particular, it's not only the current generation, it's the new kids also. Like if at least here in Argentina, if you go to a restaurant, you can see the old people discussing and the kids with an iPad playing Roblox and you like playing in a virtual world with their friends. And then may also, I think in the pandemic, we have an experiment of what happened when you have free time and you cannot get out of your house. And you have this need of socializing, and many people jump into like digital platforms to connect and socialize, similar to what kids does in their house when they cannot get outside because they are not allowed, but they want to still connect with their friends. So I think gaming is a big part and will continue growing. So it's a pretty interesting industry to watch out. Uh, what we're trying to do here with gaming in general is that we want to flip the narrative on what's the social contract between the creator in these platforms and the company that runs it. If you see Roblox, for example, they take more than 50% of the revenue of all the sales of like digital assets created like creators.
Hmm.
So, and I think that's a boomer. Like in like you are investing a lot of time building things that other people want to buy, and you receive less of like half of the revenue. In Decentraland, all the assets you create that are backed by like NFTs in a blockchain that can be traded like in a primary sale on a secondary market that doesn't really depend on Decentraland. And if you operate through the Decentraland marketplace, which is the most important one, you keep up to 97% of the revenue. Like it's like 2.5% really the fee that Decentraland takes for trading an asset on their marketplace. So really putting the creators at the center of like the business model and the stage, and letting them to capitalize fully on their creation. I think that's something that's different from Decentraland in particular, or like Web3 space and gaming from other gaming
Yes.
spaces. Also, like the relationship you build with a game could be super strong, like emotionally attached to your avatar, emotionally attached to your assets and your items. I don't know if you heard about the story of how Vitalik started Ethereum. There is an
No.
interesting story that he was a player of World of Warcraft, like
Uh-huh.
an online game when he was a kid, and he was super attached to his avatar and one particular asset. And one day, the creators of this game decided to change the properties of their asset and make it like from something really good item to have, like to fight in battles, to something that is not that interesting anymore. Sorry. Mm. So at that time, Vitalik was like, I cannot believe that one company, one person decided to change this and it's affecting like my whole experience. Like how the rules of the game can be changed like from one day to another without further announcement. And he realized that centralization is a bad thing for some when you're like emotionally attached on something. Uh, and I think that was like the first tiny thing that maybe this Vitalik started exploring, like how to decentralize, how to embed the rules of the platform or the world into like a blockchain, something that doesn't depend on a central authority. And I believe that that's something also that still lives today, and the power of Web3 gaming is about like giving this freedom to the user to trade their assets freely. It doesn't depend on like a centralized authority that lets you trade your asset. Also, how the changes of the platform of the game are regulated, what can be changed from one day to another, and what things need to go through a governance process to make a change. For example, land owners in Decentraland know for sure that land is scarce, that we cannot issue more land without going through like a proper governance process. And there was early attempts to make the Decentraland world like bigger, or actually some people, for example, lost their keys and they want to bring their land back. And that was the case that was presented to the DAO, the governance platform. Like, hey, let's expand the land, or give me a method to reclaim the land I lost. And any of those changes require like an update on the land registry and a smart contract. And
Mhm.
all the stakeholders voted no, because it was way more important to keep it like for what it was, the original idea, to make it keep it scarce. That's the promise to all landowners and stakeholders. And I think the community stood firmly there. And in case of like recovering land, it's also like an interesting use case, because on the good side, you are helping someone to recover their land, but also you are opening the door on sizing assets from like another user. Like you are opening a function that lets an authority to take the asset from one user and give it to another, and that could be created with a nice purpose, but in the long term could degenerate in something pretty terrible. And I think that's really interesting on the meta game of the game. Like you can enjoy the game by playing it, but then you can go deeper, get into the rabbit hole of how this works, how can we change the game, how we can like affect the rules and actually engage in that conversation and be a shaper of the world we are participating. I think that's also a pretty powerful thing of the narrative of this
Yeah, yeah. I
Web3
want
gaming
to speak
space.
more about it. Want to speak more about it, and especially about this virtual like lands, like
Mm-hmm,
kind of real estate,
mm-hmm,
because it is a hot topic also in terms of bull run is coming, and
mm-hmm,
many of people are looking for like to invest, and
mm-hmm,
real estate is in real world is a part of investments.
mm-hmm,
So somehow it's like correlated. It's kind of sounds similar. So can you
Hmm.
explain us what does it mean, like to
Hmm.
hold virtual real estate?
Yeah. So in Decentraland, we have a one big city, the metropolis of Decentraland. It's called the Genesis City, and it's built by individual plots of land, like more than 90,000 plots of land. If you have two plots of land that are adjacent, you can combine them to make something bigger. And similarly to real estate, if you are like the owner of a plot of land, you are the only one who can build there. You
Mhm.
can delegate the permissions to other people to build there. And actually, you can rent the land through the marketplace in a trustless fashion. Uh, so, one option is to purchase land and develop it yourself and build like something that is like attractive or it has some monetization options in there. So that's an approach. Other approach is to buy the land and rent it to other people through the marketplace. And I think we can compare a little bit real estate in physical world with digital real estate because location. Like in the central, like this world is all adjacent and just traversable. We really foster like foot traffic from user through the space. Like other than socializing, exploration is another big part of like going through the world and finding interesting things. While you are going to an event somewhere, you walk and find interesting things. So if you're interested in purchasing land, like understanding which is the location in which you want to purchase it, to understand what are your neighbors, because you will derive some traffic from that. So I think that's similar. What is different from like physical real estate and
Mhm.
digital? I think the things you build on the land doesn't really change that much the value of the land per se. It may affect the price of your surrounding because, like, if you have
Mm.
something that is pretty nice, like your neighbors will get a more value because you are getting a lot of foot traffic. But when you sell the land or you purchase the land, you can swipe the content pretty quickly. You can pay for a bill that is already done and you customize it, or you pay for a developer who creates something custom for you. And with one click, you can change the content of your land. And I think that's kind of different. Like when you in real life, when you go and purchase a place, you want also maybe to invest in the building to raise the value. Maybe here it doesn't apply directly. What can help is like uh, finding parcels that are like individually owned next to each other and like creating an estate of it, like making the size of the plot bigger. That's something that adds more value. Like two individual
Yeah,
parcels are less value than one parcel that is like the double size.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
clear.
kind of some dynamics of Decentraland.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there are like many listeners that will ask these questions. So these virtual properties are more about um, fun, or it also like the part of like making money on it.
Um, I think it depends on what do you want to do with it. Like,
But both options are like possible.
yeah. So the options are like you are part of a community and you want to
Mhm.
have your own cloud to gather and do your own parties and actually own the place. You do your own parties, and so it's about having your own freedom. And I think the point here is just to have fun and to have the chance to define how the world you are experiencing and hosting people is set up. So it's about your creative freedom. Other people develop games, games that may have a monetization strategy on it. Like so, you have a free to play version, but if you buy some NFTs, you get access to some level or some boost to get more points, and there's like some system economy there in which players may invest some money to move faster through the game, or and the monetization is through like buying some assets to continue playing the game. So that if you are a game developer and you enjoy building this kind of experience, that's like a monetization strategy around those. Then, for example, people who have experience like creating these spaces may do it for like as a business for other companies. Like there are some companies, as you mentioned, like Coca-Cola, Netflix, Doritos, Mountain Dew, Tommy Hilfiger, Dolce Gabbana. Those companies build something decentral, and so you can also like if you want to do a business in Decentraland, like you can become a studio that provides services to those companies. So maybe having the land is an option, or just you can just rent the land for the particular job and place it there and pass the cost to the company who is like interested in building something like that. Um, we have a registry of verified studios. Like if you are a brand looking to hire a studio, you can go and submit like a request for like the brief of the job, and you receive like different like quotes for the job from studios, and also you can verify as a provider to receive all the income of these job deals. I think brands are particularly interested in building a like interactive experience in Decentraland, mostly because of the engagement time. Like if you are like the question of like why a company is interested in building a social experience in the metaverse, the answer is because the average time a user spends in one of these scenes is around 38, 40 minutes, which is huge. Like if you compare it with other social media platforms, a user like Instagram may spend like 10 seconds seeing your ad. If you're in YouTube, maybe you get like a longer ad space. But actually engaging a user for like 40 minutes in an interactive experience, like that's a lot of brand awareness. And I think they when they go to Decentraland or other like virtual worlds, what they are looking is for like maximizing the time a user is engaging with the brand, and maybe not the bulk numbers, like you get more prints on Instagram or Google search, but like actually building a memorable experience like for branding, I think it's pretty cool. And also it can be part of a multi-channel activation. Like you can do something in real life through an event. You can have a campaign that runs online. You have panels or a live stream, and also in that you can add like a virtual space that replicates part of the activity, has the live stream of your event in the place, and those who want to join can socialize between your audience, and you can make friends that are also interested in the same brand. So I think that's pretty powerful.
Yes, our world is changing, and it's anyway, it will be like home for everyone soon. So, speaking about this, how to make money, how do you think if crypto will run somehow affect the metaverse? Because these industries have something similar, but it's a different industries. I mean, it's not metaverse. It's not about. It's not more about money, but anyway, how do you think crypto will run affect somehow metaverse?
Yeah, well, definitely we see a lot of incoming new users through these hype cycles that are just because they heard about Mana. Mana is our utility token and is traded openly in so many exchanges. It has a lot of liquidity. And when they see for like what's the token I should invest, I don't know, like they find the token and they say, what is this project about? And then they realize that this is a project that they can actually use and engage and has a utility for like their life. I think the metaverse or Decentraland in particular aims to a pretty wide spectrum of audience. Like has a very mainstream audience. We born as a crypto niche product. You at the beginning you needed to have MetaMask installed in order to explore Decentraland. That those days are gone. Now we have social login. That behind the scenes there is a wallet. You have self-custodianship of your assets, and all those rights are still there. But the crypto jargon is something that we try to hide for actually opening the platform for like all users. So most of the people who came to Decentraland came because a friend told them, because they are looking for ways to play games, social games online. They look forward to like make new friends online. Those are kind of the keywords that drive most of the like organic growth. But during this crypto market, we also get a lot of people who are interested in like the underlying technology and are interested in our origins. So we definitely get more users when like crypto is going up. And I think the underlying technology and the values on the why we build this way are important. So that's what I say for Decentraland. I think the innovation on the gaming space and entertainment, and also places in which AI can be experimented, it's also a general interest.
And how you stand out from other competitors, for example, compared to Sandbox and etc. So I think Metaverse will grow and grow. So how you work in direction stand out competitors?
Yeah. So, well, we can do something that nobody else can do technically. That is, we can create a one big open world that is traversable, in which you find the creation of different people through your work. This is different from, for example, Sandbox or Roblox or other like spaces, virtual spaces, because in their take of the metaverse, you are jumping from one isolated space created by one person, and you jump or teleport to another space that is created by other people, and there is no like adjacency. There is no one big world that can be traversed. So that's one take that differs Decentraland from other spaces, that we want to build like a shared virtual space that you can walk freely and be wonder about all the things that are around. So I think that's a value proposition that's different. Then the take on decentralization for Decentraland is pretty important, and I think have nailed that part on having the right smart contracts, the marketplace, the governance platform to do so. And actually, you don't need Decentraland permissions for deploying content. Like this happens regularly, that suddenly we check and, oh my God, Samsung has built a headquarters here. How that happened? Like who talked with them? No, they just decided they want to do it, and they just did it. And that sense of permissionless, I think, is also pretty core of Decentraland. That in many other places, you need to go through a verification process. You need require the company that approves what you are building. So I think the openness of the platform, and also the uptime. We have been, since we launched in Decentraland in 2020. There was no one day you could not access Decentraland. We have been live always, and this is because we have like this infrastructure, like the content layer is replicated, the asset ownership is on chain, and we can make sure that Decentraland keeps living for a long time. While other games, maybe they close the platform for many months, then they open for a season and then close it again. So I think that those are different takes on how we run. I think ultimately we are in a similar search, so just taking different approach. We are learning together, so I'm really eager to see other platforms grow as well, because it will just make the pie bigger for all of us. So
Needed. Yeah, so you're famous, like the company famous by a partnership with big real commerce brands. And how was the feedback of these companies like Samsung, Adidas, Coca-Cola? Like, did they like to be in the metaverse space? And do you see the more big brands are coming into metaverse? For example, the same real estate.
mhm.
If some big company or some big building like real estate empire um, wants to join metaverse, I think it will be something like mind blowing for the industry.
Yeah,
Like how you see
yeah.
this cooperation between like real commerce brand with metaverse. What was the feedback, and what will be the future?
Mhm. Interesting question. So I think most brands are most of the big brands are interested in experimenting in different media and platforms when they approach, at least on the past years, when they approach virtual worlds. What they are is like investing their budget on, like, let's try new platforms that let us engage in new ways. I think that's their interesting, like the curiosity about the space is how we can engage differently and how we can set ourselves apart and build memorable experiences that engage for a long time. I think the feedback in general is like they are super surprised of being able to engage with their audience for 40 minutes straight. I think that's what the bigger feedback is like. That's what sets apart virtual spaces from other media placement, is the time for engagement. Um, the Most of the brands they like to join like bigger events. We host a few events through the year. For example, we host a fashion week, and that's a like an umbrella event in which we call many brands, many creators to be part of something bigger that we showcase what the industry can do. And I think that's a nice opportunity for brands to jump in, test it out, and try it. They're also interested. They had good feedback about being able to sell like customized wearables or digital assets in world, because that will have a value. Like the first NFT Coca-Cola minted and sold in Decentraland, that will have a lot of value along the years. Like collectors will remember like this was the first NFT Coca-Cola minted. So being able to create intellectual property that can be transacted and have collector value, I think it's also interesting for the brands. And see also like how they can do a revenue split. They can continue getting like a revenue for like the secondary sales, and they can do revenue splits with the creator. I think the setting up the contract on collaborating with different artists and making sure that like the proceeds of the sales go directly to the creators make it way easily for accounting and so I think that's an interesting feedback. I expect to see more brands trying to join this kind of big events like Fashion Week, Music Festival, Art Week, and we are testing different like events targeted to different industries to 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 see how the value proposition may change for each of them. Um, but yeah, definitely, I believe that there is an opportunity for brands to engage with their audience differently. In terms of like a big real estate company jumping into the metaverse, I think that's not pretty possible right now, because the industry is way different. Like the concept is similar, but all the required skills, how the business is developed, it's pretty different. I think a big real estate company has a, all the infrastructure to operate in the real world. They have like like a legalese for operating in a particular jurisdiction. They have architects and engineers that really how they know how on how to build something that is going to support so many people and the weight and like pretty technical, like specialized engineers for real life physics. When you build something in a virtual world, you are not limited by the physics. You can do like elevators that are floating. And I think like sparking the imagination of how you like cross the physical limitations and do something that is really interesting is a different skill set. Like probably you cannot ask that to like an engineer that he or she knows to build a bridge, for example. So I think that there is a big opportunity there for like the niche
Brands.
creator, the small studio to service a big brand, because like there is no huge tier company that is going to provide those services right away. Actually, the most interesting events are like if you are doing like a party in Decentraland to celebrate, I don't know, the all-time high of your NFT community, and you can bring them all into Decentraland and use the wearables with the hats or shirts of the NFT you have, and the party and the host of the party, most of those are like built by or little studios or their own creators. So you actually engage with other people who are like the creators of it and really own the process. So I think that if you are like not a huge company, but instead a small creator, you have a big chance to add value and actually end up collaborating with Coca-Cola or a big brand like that.
Yes.
That I think is also a big jump in your professional career, something to add to your portfolio that you have worked with these top level brands.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And uh, does Decentraland has any like future plan to partner with some big brands, or what brands you would like to partner with in the future?
Yeah, so we're interested for next year uh, to to bring a lot of art into the Decentraland, like what art pieces that have been exposed in the real world, like in a Biennale or Burning Man, or like festival that actually bring artists from all over the world and build some creations. We
Mhm.
want to help them digitalize their artwork and art pieces and bring it to the Decentraland. That's something that we are willing to invest in, and because it's a piece of culture, and actually when you find it in the Decentraland, it's not the experience just you are seeing at the moment. It's also the story that is behind it. It's the story of the artist,
Yeah.
where this piece was, how this was inspired, how was installed, were the original materials of it. So I think that we're interested in showcasing and giving more visibility to artists throughout the world. And so that's one part, like pushing through the art scene. And also we're, next year is the World Fair. It's a huge event that happens like every 5 years.
Yeah.
Like the Eiffel Tower was built for a World Fair. Like they built a huge
No,
city
that's
just
cool.
for the event. Um, so that's an interesting thing for next year. So this is not defined, but we're really interested in also bringing culture into it and doing partnership with like representations of different countries, embassies, communities from local communities, and showcase like some landmarks and bring, yeah, to make the center a place you can explore culture. I think that would be a meaningful experience for everyone who is enjoying our virtual world.
Yeah, thank you for answers. I think that Decentraland is a really, really good project, and it will grow because like people's lifestyle is changing, and like the economy, or even not economy but environment also is changing, and more people are sitting at home, but otherwise they want to interact with someone, chatting with someone. They want to have fun, and projects like Decentraland is really cool for this option. Like has cool option for this purpose. So yeah, thank you for your answers. Thank you for joining. Who are like listening our podcast, please share it with your friends if you like it. If you have any more questions, please comment below and subscribe to our channel. Yeah, Yemel, thank you one more time. You told us really like interesting information. Even like I changed my mind, because before that I like think about Decentraland and Metaverse just about they're close to gaming industry more, and I'm not like playing game a lot, but I see that you can spend time not only in playing game, but you can do different interesting things. So yeah, and this is the future for sure.
Thank you so much,
So,
Yeli, for having me here. It has been a pleasure to discuss Decentraland and crypto and decentralize all the things here. Yeah, and looking forward to see you in Decentraland. Maybe we can catch up in a party around there. I can show you
yes,
around.
yes, in the Decentraland, yes, for sure.